Ancient historical texts are rarely treated as rigid datasets. We typically read them for narratives, for philosophy, or for cultural context. But if you strip away the prose and extract only the chronological markers, the specific dates, months, and years, a consistent recurring numerical pattern appears. We are examining a specific dataset comprised of 33 distinct historical interventions, all explicitly logged within the 81-book canon. This timeline spans thousands of years of human history. It begins with physical, planetary events like Noah's flood and stretches all the way through the localized first-century records of the Nativity and the Resurrection. Despite occurring in entirely different eras, under different geopolitical empires, and across millennia, every single one of these 33 events shares an identical chronological signature. This chart shows 33 chronological data points compressing horizontally to land precisely on the 17th day of their respective months. The probability of these 33 independent events aligning on the exact same day by random chance is 1 in 5 decillion. A number that large suggests that this chronological record was mapped to a specific frequency. We are looking at a precise set of data points. To understand why that number points toward a coordinated system, we have to look strictly at the raw mathematics of independent events. First, we set our baseline parameter. We are operating within a fixed calendar system where a month consists of either 30 or 31 days. This equation establishes our baseline. The probability of any single historical event landing randomly on the 17th day is roughly 1 in 30. Expanding this formula shows that when you calculate the odds of an alignment sequence, that base probability of 1 in 30 must be compounded across all 33 independent variables. The result is 5 times 10 to the 48th power. Human cognition struggles with numbers at this scale. We need a physical comparison to grasp the magnitude of the anomaly. This visual scale compares the total volume of sand on Earth, every beach, every desert, roughly 10 to the 21st power grains of sand, against our dataset. Achieving this 33-event chronological alignment by luck is trillions of times more difficult than blindly selecting one predetermined grain of sand out of the entire planet. In forensic analysis or a high-level statistical audit, a probability threshold this low eliminates the possibility of coincidence entirely. It is treated as mathematical certainty. The sequence is an intentional, documented management of the timeline. For this mathematical alignment to even be visible, it requires a specific systemic environment to process the data. These overlapping gears illustrate how in standard models like the lunar or Gregorian systems, fixed monthly dates experience chronological drift. The variable length of years and intercalation cycles cause historical nodes to drift out of rhythm over time. Because of this mechanical slippage, the 17th day alignment sequence remains completely hidden from modern chronological models. There is only one historical timekeeping structure where this sequence actually functions, the 364-day Ethiopian or solar calendar. This calendar relies on a 364-day constant. It operates as a rigid, unmoving grid that mathematically prevents chronological drift. Adding the 364-day constant into this model demonstrates how it catches the 17th day node in perfect synchronization, century after century, without slipping. The exactness of this alignment proves the system itself was architected specifically to capture and index these exact chronological markers. However, if you test this sequence using modern historical dates, you will hit a critical friction point where the mathematical model fails. Using the currently accepted chronology, the events of the 1st century, specifically the Nativity and the Resurrection, miss the 17th day frequency completely. The source of this failure is not the ancient text, but a mechanical flaw, specifically an overlooked printing error introduced into the translated works of the historian Josephus in 1544. This single 16th century typesetting error artificially shifted the historical timeline, injecting precisely 3 missing years into the accepted academic record. To evaluate the raw data accurately, we must apply a forensic correction and remove that false 3-year gap. This timeline of the 1st century shows what happens when we remove the 3 years. the Nativity and the Resurrection shift back into their original historical positions, and both anchor events lock flawlessly onto the 17th-day axis. Consider the statistical absurdity of this. A random Renaissance printing mistake just happened to perfectly obscure a 5 decillion to 1 mathematical alignment spanning thousands of years. Correcting the 1544 error is not manipulating the data. It is a mandatory forensic restoration required to return mathematical integrity to the timeline. To perceive this master frequency, the structural requirements are absolute. The 17th-day alignment remains entirely invisible unless the data is processed through the 364-day solar calendar and the 1544 printing error is corrected. This explains why the incomplete modern chronological record, often referred to as the 99, fails to show the pattern, while the chronologies within the 81 book canon are mathematically verifiable. The probability of 5 times 10 to the 48th power serves as a permanent statistical anchor for this dataset. We are not dealing with theoretical abstractions. These are physical events tied to exact geographical coordinates, legal claims, and historical extractions. The precision of this data demands a re-evaluation of how these records are categorized. The evidence shows that these dates follow a rigid mathematical protocol. The probability confirms that these 33 events are not isolated occurrences, but are parts of a single, coordinated historical design. The math verifies the record.